Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to show 241. This show is called The Kiss of Judas. First, let us take a look at those pictures there that you may see on your screen. To the left, that's me holding my peenie, the sword of the Lord, my weenie whacker. Proud of it. There it is. That's me. And to the left, that's my older brother. To the right, we are in Sunken Meadow Beach in, I believe that's in Nassau County in Long Island. Long Islanders, to serve you. That's me, a proud man, proud little boy. And in the middle is an animal of sorts, right? Is that a buffalo? Buffalo soldier, on a Rasta. And to the right is my Uncle Frank. He was a Korean veteran from the Korean War. Now he's with Jesus in the heavenly wars. Bless his soul. So anyway, let us continue now. 241, the kiss of Judas. Okay, ladies and gents, you know, in the Last Supper, we left off this on the previous show. In the Last Supper, they were drinking, and there seemed to be a dispute or some kind of a discomfort between Judas Iscariot and Jesus Christ. There seemed to be some. Was Judas Iscariot the son of Simon? I don't know. All in the family. Now, in some countries, men kiss each other on the cheek. In San Francisco, I think they just go all out in a French kiss. In some parts of whatever, the gay community, a French kiss. But heterosexual men around the world, in some countries, it's normal to give a kiss on the cheek, sometimes double kiss, right? One on each cheek. I think in the Arab world, Italy, Argentina, some countries, it's not a gay thing. Men can kiss each other on the cheek. It's acceptable. It's normal. I believe probably in Israel, Middle East, you know, and stuff like that. Certain countries. In some countries, they're embarrassed, they're ashamed. The men just shake hands, you know. Like in the USA, you know, the women shake hands too. You know, in Latin, like I'm in Peru right now, and in Peru, for example, the men do not kiss each other on the cheek because the gay people are in the closet in Peru. There's a lot of them, but they're in the closet, so they're very macho, you know. But it's funny, like but in Peru and all Latin countries, it used to be that way. That when you met, a guy, handshake, and you meet a girl, you kiss her on the cheek. A girl that you don't know, you know, I mean, you kiss on the cheek. That was the way it was normal. But now nobody wants to do that. But in the States, it's funny. Like even women, they're very cold, a little colder, and even women will give you a strong handshake. You know, put a little strength to that handshake, girl. You know, it's become a little different. So, the world is changing. There's a lot less love. Okay. So, anyway, now let us analyze this. All right, I'm a dissector. I learned this in kindergarten when I was dissecting frogs. So I'm dissecting Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Now, why would Judas, right? If Judas kissed Jesus on the cheek, right? That means there was a pretty much close relationship between them. I don't think he would come out of nowhere and greet Jesus with a kiss. It would have been like it was no surprise. It was a normal way they treated each other. They greeted each other, obviously. Or else Jesus would have backed off, you know. Came and it was normal to get between Judas and Jesus, and maybe the other guy, I'm sure the other guys too, and Judas was normal with Jesus. He gave him a kiss. Because they were family, they were spiritual family, they were a team. You know, it was normal, so it wasn't abnormal. Although there was an abnormal situation behind Judas. He had betrayed Jesus, and he had a whole onslaught, you know, a big group of people behind him ready to capture and arrest Jesus. And he said, "The one I kiss on the cheek." Okay. So yeah, so it was a normal thing between them. That means there was there was fellowship and friendship and love and between Jesus and Judas. I mean, it was normal to come and give Jesus a kiss on the cheek. There was an affectionate relationship there, normally speaking. Now, they were not gay, but I mean, yeah, it was just like I said, it was just a greeting, and it was normal. And so obviously between Judas and Jesus, there was that kind of comradeship. So anyway, because now also Judas was the one who held the money bag. He was in charge of the finances of the group, right, of the apostles. That also says a lot that Judas was entrusted with financially, right, with the money. So he was special. He was special with Jesus. We all know that Judas Iscariot, he was a zealot, right? They were revolutionaries. They wanted to, they wanted to be free from the Roman Empire. And I believe Judas had faith that Jesus was going to go that route of violence and start a revolution. Let's start a revolution, man. We got a revolution. Oh, we want to change the world. Boom, 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 boom. Tell me. Okay, so Judas, was disappointed. I guess his expectations were a little too high. He had his personal expectations of what Jesus was going to do and what he was helping him do. But when Jesus showed that it was not about that, it was about giving his life and peace and love and turning the other cheek, Judas, I think, was highly disappointed. And it might have been a problem, an issue between them two, an argument or something. There was something going on. And I'm sure Judas, went and maybe complained to the wrong people, to so-called friends, and they went and told the Pharisees, and they found a weak link, an opening, right? Okay, so they found a weak link in Judas, because I guess there was an argument or a little fallout in his relationship with Jesus. And so they used that, and I'm sure they fed into that. They said, look at the way he treats you, stuff like that, because they wanted to use Judas to trap Jesus, and it sure worked. But another point, very important point here is that Judas went, and after he did what he did. He took the money, he wanted to give it back, then he threw the money in the floor, whatever, and he went and he hanged himself. Or I don't know if he bought a field or what the story is, but he went and he hanged himself. So Judas had a conscience. I mean, if it was somebody else, it would have just been a normal situation, right? He was taking that money, go take a trip, go to the beach in Galilee, hang out with the fellows, whatever, he would have taken that money, but he didn't. He threw the money away and he went and he hanged himself. So he had a conscience. He was a confused fella. He realized he made a mistake, but he had the common decency to kill himself, to hang himself, right? Because of the love that he had for Jesus, obviously. So all that to say that Judas Iscariot was not totally a bad guy. Okay? Think about it. Let us read a bit, a little time. We have a little time left here. We're in Mark 14, here's verse 48. And Jesus answering said unto them, "You've come against me as a thief, having swords and staves to trap me, to arrest me. Every day I sat with you, teaching in the temple, and you didn't lay hold on me. But that the scriptures may be fulfilled." So Jesus is telling them, the crowd that came to arrest him, that daily he was there, in the church, teaching, and they never tried to arrest him. And you come against me as a thief, like the two thieves that were crucified to both of his sides. I guess thieves were also crucified. Imagine if they did that today. We wouldn't have too many thieves. Anyway, so now we mosey on over to, I only read the words of Jesus. Here's verse 62 of the same chapter 14, right? And Jesus said, okay, this is the part where the high priest asked Jesus, "Are you the Christ?" After he'd been arrested, the high priest asked Jesus, "Are you the Christ?" They already took him, under arrest. Peter had already betrayed him, But, "Are you the Christ?" And Jesus said, "I am, and you shall see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the power of God and coming in the clouds of heaven." So Jesus said he was coming, he was going to return in the clouds of heaven. Okay, so that hasn't happened yet, right? So God's idea of time is different than ours. I would highly recommend Jesus not to land anywhere near the United States. They might start, they're paranoid, man, they're trigger happy, they might start throwing missiles at him, they might not know what it is. But he said he was going to come in the clouds of heaven. I don't know what that means. Okay, clouds of heaven, my friends. And then we mosey on over. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 14, and we're in chapter 15, and now he's with Pilate. Pontius Pilate. And Pontius Pilate asked him, blah, 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 asked him, are you the king of the Jews? And Jesus said, you have said it. You have said it. So he did not deny. He did not deny that he was the king of the Jews, he was the king of all of us, right? And then, once he was crucified, there we have Jesus saying, at the 9th hour, Jesus exclaimed, he screamed, he cried with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which translated is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? So one of Jesus' last words was, my God, and in his body before he passed away, before he was crucified, he was, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Okay? Why hast thou forsaken me? I don't know. So there it is. There it is. Oops. We moved the desk a little confusing here. I got nervous. Okay? That's it. And so, we're going to be reading the last verse of Mark in chapter 16 on our next show. Think about what I say, okay? Have a beautiful day. I love you. Thank you.